Hey, answering your question, I saw some people put out there some different names. One of them that comes to mind is Donnie Nicky. He was a safety, he played 4 years for Ohio State, and he got stuck in there as a redshirt freshman in '99 when they were 6-6, and the whole defense was terrible. But when he was a senior, he was a captain on the national championship team. So he's a guy that went from the outhouse to the penthouse in 4 years. And certainly improved, but again, stuck out there by default as a redshirt freshman. If I had to think of some other guys in that ilk, there were a couple others that kind of came to mind. Guys who maybe had some rough. Eddie George was a name, obviously the fumbles as a freshman, Heisman Trophy winner as a senior. But I think everybody who saw Eddie as a freshman realized he was going to be something special. It just took him a day or two to get from point A to point B. I don't know, Tony, did you have anybody to answer his question from earlier about
Haskell Garrett? Back up for 3 years,
did nothing for the first 2 years, and then
shot. Before the season becomes an All-American. So went from 3 years as a backup to an All-American, which is pretty incredible.
He was a throw-in in the Tate Martell acquisition, and then turns out to be the better part of that deal. So
probably a better quarterback too.
Probably a better quarterback. Oh my God. Urban carried on about Tate because of how hard he worked out, called him an elite warrior and all this stuff. It threw the kid a bone. Here's Haskins throwing for 8,000 yards, gets him down inside the 5-yard line, but could not put the ball in the end zone to save his life. And inside the 10-yard line, and they put the poor kid in the game. And I think it was Indiana or somebody, and they had a false start as Isaiah Prince jumped off sides, which he was prone to do. But you change that cadence, down on the goal line, goofy things happen. And what was it? It was 3 things happened: a false start, fumbled the snap. He fumbled the snap, or it was a wide snap, and then one other thing happened, and of course the kid had to kick a field goal. But Meyer loved that kid like he was Nate Meyer. I mean, he just he just loved that kid. Maybe his name was Tate Meyer. I don't know, but it was a love affair. And now where's he going now? Has he found a home yet?
I don't believe so.
He should go back to Vegas. They're playing their games in the NFL stadium now, aren't they?
He should go back to Vegas. He might end up on TikTok, though. I don't know.
So Tate Martell would be the inverse of the question that I asked. The 5-star that so much.
There's a lot of those now. There's a lot of 5-star, quote unquote, busts that have come through Ohio State. A lot of linebackers.
My quick answer to my own question would be the obvious would be Troy Smith. Not that he improved on the field. From the time he stepped on the field, his second game was the big Michigan game. So it wasn't necessarily what he showed on the field, but he was recruited and signed as an athlete, correct? And so there wasn't a whole lot expected of him to be a starting quarterback at Ohio State. And then he turns out to be the best player in the nation.
Yeah, signed in the same class as Justin Zwick, who was one of the most prolific passers in Ohio high school history when he came out of Massillon. And everyone just anointed Zwick because he was right out of Central Casting, 6'4", 215, 220, whatever, seemed to have all the stuff going for him. But, and again, he was put on a team there in 2004 that just didn't have anything going for it, young offensive line, young running backs, and young receivers, and not very good, just across the board. So, yeah, it was a tough go there for those guys.